Welcome to the Epic Podcast, your elopement photographer inspiration compass. I'm your host, Sheryl Anne, elopement photographer, former Navy officer, and proud mama. This is where adventure and destination elopement photographers come to get inspired, connect, and keep learning. If you're ready to reach new heights and find your true north, you're in the right place. Stay epic. I am so excited to introduce Susan of Jireh Artistry, one of the top elopement hair and makeup artists specializing in the Yosemite, Lake Tahoe, and Big Sur area. With over 17 years of experience, multiple publications, and a signature style rooted in elevated, sophisticated bridal beauty, Susan creates a spa-like experience that helps brides feel radiant and relaxed from the start. As an elopement specialist and one of the first elopement artists to offer content creation as an added service, she ensures her brides look incredible and have beautiful behind the scenes memories of their day. Welcome to the show, Susan.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you on the show. Thank you for hopping on. Can you start by introducing yourself and what inspired you to become a hair and makeup artist?
Yes. So, my name is Susan Talantes. What started me, I would say my answer is always that I've always been a super girly girl on the inside. And growing up, my mom was like a tomboy, and then I had a brother. So I had like no guidance. And it was either cosmetology or veterinary field.
Okay.
'Cause I love
Two
animals,
different
so
things.
beauty
Yeah.
or animals. And, I actually did go into the veterinary field for, like, a year, and then I switched to cosmetology, and, that's, where I truly got to learn all the beauty things, and I've been doing that for 17 years now, so it's fit me pretty well. I'm still not sick of it. I love it so much.
Wow, that's amazing. 17 years.
Yeah.
You are experienced at what you do, and it's evident because your work is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, so how did you primarily getting started working with elopement photographers or elopement couples, I should say?
Oh, yeah, okay, so in those 17 years, right, it's like I've, navigated and kind of switched around some things. So I started off doing large weddings. I
Okay.
had a huge team of artists in like Bay Area, California. And then we expanded a team of artists in Hawaii. So we were doing weddings in both locations. It was so fun. All my Hawaii trips are like a tax write off. It was so fun. And then around, I would say just before 2020, so maybe around 2018 to 2019, I started to serve like the pretty destination areas
Okay.
in Northern California, like around where I live. So I had just started dabbling into Yosemite, like Tahoe, Big Sur areas. When the pandemic happened, everything shut down. And after that, California was one of the main states, right, that like we're very strict on everything. So we
Mhm.
were only allowed to do like elopements, just the bride and groom, like very minimal vendors, like very minimal everything. Or I would say maybe like another year afterwards.
Wow.
So I started to, I didn't really need my teams as much. And I
Okay.
started to just work more solo, just doing elopements. And I realized that I absolutely love working with just the bride and groom. It's a whole different like dynamic and
Yeah.
feeling and it's less stress. And I just do, focus on one person, maybe the groom, maybe the sister or the mom, but it's very like minimal. So I'm able to like pour out myself and, not feel like super stressed and they're also not feeling stressed either. So yeah, I just really fell in love with elopements after that.
So you're not doing the big traditional wedding at all anymore?
I still do, but I feel
Okay.
like a lot of my marketing and branding is geared towards elopements. So I would say like 80 to 90% are elopements. And then there's that small percentage of brides who will still book me for larger weddings or on Saturdays. Sometimes I'll have larger weddings in those pretty destination locations too.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
miss working with a big team or do you really love just being solo?
I really love being solo. It's so
Okay.
weird because when I had my teams and I kind of like managed everything, all the admin work. I had all my processes and systems down, which was really nice.
Yeah.
So everything was pretty streamlined in that aspect, but there's just something like mentally not having to worry about
Yes.
like this artist to this location and then these three artists to that location and just managing myself like it's just I like it better.
Oh, makes sense. Okay, let's get back
Yeah.
into elopements. Where are you primarily based out of? Do you have any specific locations that you work out of for elopements?
Yeah, so I live like in the Central Valley
Okay.
area of
Yeah.
Northern California. So I always say like I'm right in the middle of Bay Area, Yosemite, um, Lake Tahoe, and Big Sur. So I'm like right in the middle of like any direction that I go. So that's kind of like where I live, where I'm stationed. I still have a salon space in the Bay Area, so I can do like preview sessions there sometimes, or sometimes I'm traveling for preview sessions. But yeah, I pretty much just serve like all of Northern California primarily, I would say.
That is amazing and so lucky that you're in a prime location between three of the most like famous elopement places that you can ever like be a part of. So that's really awesome and that makes a lot of sense of why you're so well known and like famous in the Northern California region. Yeah,
I
okay.
think we're just very blessed to live here in California because it's not like that in every state,
That's
It's
true.
not like that in every state that's like driving distance to multiple like beautiful destination locations, So
True.
it's just I'm just very blessed to be like right in the center of it all.
Yeah, I'm jealous. That's awesome. Okay, let's move on to like your creative side. How would you describe your makeup and hairstyle?
Yeah, so I'm definitely more of the natural to soft side.
Okay.
I prefer to more so like enhance the beauty and create like an elevated look. Most of my brides too, that's what they want, especially um I attract a lot of like hikers and nature lovers, so like my brides that are getting married in these pretty places, most of them want to still feel like themselves and look like themselves,
Yeah.
but just like a special version, like, an elevated version. Most of them don't want the crazy like contouring techniques where it's going to change your face shape or your facial features or you have a nose job or something like that. I would still say, even though that's my specialty and that's like what I promote and post and stuff in my branding and my marketing,
Mhm.
I still get a small percentage of brides who will come to me that want like full glam. They want like heavy smoky eyes or glitter, like all the works. And I can still do it, but I always say like my version is going to be like more bridal. It's not like MAC, like fashion show or stage makeup, it's gonna be like a little softer. Like we could do a heavy smoky eye, but it's still gonna be like blended and soft, like wedding day version.
Well, it's so good that you can do both because I feel like
Yeah.
that you will eventually have both brides that want that type of look. But I feel like you are right in the sense that a majority of the elopement clients that we get are they don't wear makeup all the time and they want that natural glam look.
Yeah. And it's I think that it's very needed. Like there's niches in all like artistic aspects, right? But it's needed because a lot of our brides are like scared of makeup, like
Yeah.
they're like even like I don't even know if I want to hire a makeup artist because they think that there isn't an option for them to feel like themselves and like have that natural look. So yeah, I think that there is a makeup artist for everyone, whatever the client is looking for, and I fall more into that category.
Okay. Cool. What are key differences you would say that you've noticed between like the traditional wedding client versus like the elopement clients?
Okay, for sure is the stress factor for
Okay.
sure. My elopement brides, and couples, I should say, they're so chill, they're
Mhm.
easygoing. I also love that I get to spend a lot of time with both the bride and groom because as an artist, Usually we're just there for a few hours. We get everybody ready and like send them on their way. And for larger wedding days, there's outside stress factors like family members and all of that. So for
Yeah.
sure it's the stress factor. Um Also, eloping couples, they are very adventurous. So they're very much like outside of the box. They don't stick to like rules or like, like kind of do their own thing. And so their days, what their days look like, can be so different and it's like unique in its own aspect to each couple.
Yeah.
And so some of my eloping couples are like starting at sunrise, like 2 a.m. start times for hair and makeup. And then they go all the way till sunset, which could be like 7 to 9 p.m., depending on the time of the year.
Yep.
And they're hiking in their wedding dress. And so it's a lot. Or they're like changing in the middle of the woods, like, this.
Yes.
So I really like as an artist have learned that I need to cater my services to fit what their needs are, which is totally different than a regular, standard large wedding day where you have like a wedding venue, you're stationed in one place, you have like 100 guests or whatever.
Mhm.
It's just totally different. So yeah, I've definitely have custom like curated different package options. That's why I like to do a consultation call ahead of time too, to get to know the couple and to see like what their plans are for the day. That way I could kind of pick from my toolbox and like, see what I feel like would best serve them as far as hair and makeup needs and all of that too.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like just you being a hair and makeup artist and me being the photographer, the reasons that we've gravitated toward elopement couples are similar. Like we just want to avoid that big wedding day stress.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we see most of the stress during the getting ready moments, anyways, during the big weddings. Like, I don't know if
Yeah.
it's rushing or what, but
Well, by the time that photographers arrive on scene, yes.
okay.
Before you guys arrive on scene, it's like super chill, we're all having like girl time, everybody's, having fun. And
Really?
sometimes they're probably too relaxed because then
Okay.
once the photographer arrives, like, oh, clean the room, like, oh, grab the shoes, grab, like they're all like scattered all over the place. Like, oh, I forgot this is wedding day. Like we are on a schedule. Um,
That makes sense. I
but
didn't even like think of that perspective. For some reason, like I thought like maybe during getting ready, they were just panicking the entire time. But
the
I guess it's the
No,
photographer.
they
Sorry
panic
about that.
right when you guys arrive. That's
Yeah.
when the panic sets in. But there is like outside stress factors like moms or
Mhm.
aunts or family members or some brides. It depends on their personality too. Like if they have 10 people in a room and the voice volume level or music level and everything gets raised, that causes them to get stressed and anxiety,
Yeah.
just because that's getting loud in the room and they don't realize for their personality some people thrive in that because they're like
Mhm.
very outgoing and they like to be around a lot of people so that doesn't bother them at all.
Yep.
So it's just different things to consider. But
Yeah,
yeah.
no, that makes a lot of sense. Do you have like a favorite elopement that you've ever done?
So that's really hard to like pinpoint it to one.
Yeah.
I would say like my favorite elopements overall is it has to do with like the
Okay.
vibe of the couple. So there's definitely ones that like I walk away and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like it was so fun to witness the bride and groom's like love that they have for each other, like their connection, because I get to hang out with them while we're getting them ready, and it's intimate and there's not like 100 people there. So I get to like kind of see their connection and how they like banter with each other, or how they joke around or they flirt or whatever.
Yeah.
And I get to like kind of like share those special moments with them. And then also just like when people are like kind humans and I'm just like, "Oh
Mhm.
my gosh, that was like such an like I love this couple so much. They were so sweet, they were so kind, or they were so fun to hang out with." I feel like those are the ones that really leave like a lasting impression for me with me.
Oh, no, that definitely makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because 'cause I'm in pretty places all the time, so I can't really say like, "Oh, was this beautiful place," because they're all so beautiful. So I feel like what really separates it from me is like the people that I'm working with.
I love that, Susan. Oh, okay. No, that makes sense. I do have a random question for you. Sorry to go back to like hair and makeup, but do you offer groom services?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
Yes.
like how often does that get requested? Like, is it only like a couple of grooms that ask for it, or?
Yeah, so it's gotten more popular for sure. I would
Okay.
say like 8 times out of 10 people want groom services.
Wow.
Yes, and I've actually had a few brides say that they chose me because I offered groom services. They're like, "You're the first one that, I saw who offers groom services." I feel like
Okay.
for elopements, like it's
Mhm.
just the bride and groom.
Yeah.
So like he needs to get ready too.
Mhm.
Like it's also his day and it's something fun for them. Some guys, I think that the brides just sign them up for it and they
Yeah.
don't really like know what's going on. They kind of just sit there like, okay, like they don't know what to expect. And some guys are like super into it. Like
Okay.
they're like all about it.
Wow.
So
What
it's
does it
fun to see the
entail
different
for like
personalities.
the groom's hair and makeup?
Yes, I have different packages for the grooms too.
Okay. Wow.
So one includes like a mini facial service, and that's also available for the bride. Yeah,
Wow.
some of the guys get like a whole like face mask, lip mask, eye mask. It involves like facial massage techniques. So it's like a whole like mini facial. And then we always kind of like I call it skincare because I don't want to scare them and say
Okay.
like that we're doing makeup.
Right.
There is a tiny bit of makeup involved,
Yeah.
but for the most part, I'm kind of just assessing the skin to see if there's any discolorations, redness. Sometimes they have like darkness under the eyes
Yeah.
or, blemishes, things like that, getting them photo ready. And a lot of guys will get like shiny, so shine
Okay.
control, and then kind of groom their brows because some men's brows are like, unruly and they're going all different directions. And then hydrating the lips. We don't want no,
Dry
cracked or
lips.
dry lips on wedding day. Hydrating the lips, SPF, just kind of like all the things, whatever I feel like they need. And then
Okay.
hairstyling for a lot of guys, they want to still look like themselves. On wedding day, they don't want to do anything too different, but it's just like securing it a little better than they normally would.
No, I love that you offer that. And honestly, like the men will probably be like, "Oh, I hate this. Like I don't need this." But underneath all of that, they probably actually eat it
They
up and
actually,
love it. They're like, "Oh,
yeah.
this skincare is much needed for me."
Yes, I think there are for sure. There are some guys that I can tell that they're just like, I'm just here, like, I don't know what's going on. But I think on the inside,
Mhm.
after the services are complete, they feel like even when they look in the mirror, they don't see a big difference because that's
Yeah.
the whole point. You're not supposed to see a difference. You're not supposed to see that you're wearing makeup. You're supposed to still look like yourself.
Yep.
But I think that they feel more confident, like,
Oh,
okay, now I'm ready to get ready. I'm
yeah.
ready to get in my suit, and I can see a difference, even the ones that try to like play it off.
Yeah. And these little confidence boosters make such a big impact on like their elopement day, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you offer
And that
that.
probably shows up in photos too, because then they feel more confident in themselves.
Yes, and less insecure. We love that. Yes, Susan. Okay, let's dive into the adventure logistics sides of elopements because obviously you mentioned these 2 a.m. morning wake ups to get the bride and groom ready. Like, how
Yeah.
do you go about that? Like, how do you manage those early morning wake ups?
The early mornings are super hard. And that's why, of course, we charge early morning fees and stuff where
Oh, I
there's
didn't
just
know that.
a different cost
Okay.
for if we're starting at 2 a.m. versus if it's at 2 p.m.
Oh,
But that's because my whole sleep schedule is going to get completely thrown off.
yeah.
Sometimes I'm even doing like 2 a.m.s back to back, like for 3 days in a row. So like for
Oh,
3 days
girl.
in a row, there's always travel involved too. So it takes me hours to get to the destination,
Okay.
check into a hotel. Um, I'll set everything up the night before. So I set up hair, makeup, my lighting equipment, and
Hmm.
then I have the brides come to me to my location at like 2 or 3 in the morning,
Okay.
get them ready, send them on their way. That saves us setup and takedown time.
Okay.
And I roll back into bed, and I have a few more hours to sleep before checkout. So a lot of times, even with all of that, my body just won't go to bed at a decent time. Like ideally I probably should go to bed at like 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
My body is just not, scheduled to do that. So usually I only get like a few hours of sleep before I wake up an hour before they arrive. So like maybe 1 a.m. I wake up to get myself ready and presentable and then start their hair and makeup at 2 a.m.
So really, you're not sleeping at all. Like
I
if you go to
hardly
sleep
don't
at
sleep.
7, you still have to wake up at 1 a.m. to get yourself ready and
Yes.
then get them ready at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So I really don't get the best sleep that I get is after they leave.
okay.
So I could get like 3 or 4 hours after they leave until checkout.
Yeah. But even then, like that's not enough rest. Your
Yeah.
body is probably taking the
It's
entire
broken
rest of the
sleep.
week to recover from
Yeah.
something that crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I would say in the beginning, it definitely like hit me harder and it took a longer time to recover.
Yeah,
And now that I've been doing it for a few years, my body has adjusted. So it's used to getting that broken sleep here and there, I guess.
good.
It's not, I recover faster now.
Okay, good. I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that. You mentioned that the brides come to you. Have you ever done makeup out in the field though?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, so I started off doing the sunrise sessions coming to them until one
okay.
time I almost drove off a cliff.
What?
So, at that point, I decided that this is a safety hazard and I need to
Oh,
stay alive.
yes. Oh my gosh.
So, what happens is that, like, a lot of times my couples, they have each other. I have no one, I'm
Right.
by myself, traveling by myself. So, at 2 to 3 in the morning, when we're in these pretty destination locations, we're in the middle of nowhere, the wilderness, and there's no street lights or anything. So, we're just going off of our headlights,
Right.
traveling at that time. I trying to make a long story short, I backed out. I thought there was more road to the road, and there was not a road, and all I saw was bushes. So I got out the car to see what was going on. And I was like on the edge. Like if I would have kept going further, I would have drove myself
You
off
just got
a
killed.
little hill.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And I was able to, figure that out. But so yeah, it just works better for them to come to me. But another portion of that question,
Mhm.
going with them, right? Yeah, there's a lot of times that I get hired to stay with them and hike with them
Oh,
and do
yeah.
touch-ups or yeah, content creation. You mentioned earlier. Yeah, there's a lot of times that I'm tagging along. Yeah, adventure elopements are they're just so different than and they're so unique than like a regular wedding day.
Oh, yes,
And
definitely.
there's a lot of safety precautions that we have to take into consideration.
For sure, for sure. You mentioned content creation. We're going to dive into that in just a second because I'm super excited. I just have a few more questions about the like adventure logistics side. Do you have any like tips for brides like preparing for like their outdoor elopement when it comes to their hair and makeup?
Yeah, when it comes to hair and makeup, there's always like the natural elements that I would say definitely plays a factor.
Yeah.
For Yosemite, a lot of times it's like waterfalls. So photographers love waterfalls, so
Yes.
do I. But waterfalls will definitely cause like frizz in the hair, your hair is gonna get messy. I always like kind of keep I asked them, like, "What locations are you shooting at? Where are you gonna be?" Same thing with Big Sur.
Mhm.
When you get on the coastline, it can get super windy. There can be fog in the air, like moisture sometimes. So I always, kinda pick their brain and ask them, like, "Where are you gonna be? What's the vibe?" And then, when we consult about hair and makeup, I'll give them different options or things to take into consideration.
Okay.
And sometimes, they want like, they know what they want, and they want their hair down and I'm like, "Okay, we can definitely do that, just as long as you know that, like, you might have some frizz at the end of the day." Or we take different precautions, like, we're gonna start a little tighter with the curls because that way the natural elements can, like, naturally kinda loosen it up, and
Mhm.
then you have that perfect, like, boho vibe or, that messy, like, perfect amount of messiness. Like, we
Exactly.
wanna start off a little more put together than what you want, so that way the natural elements can get it there.
Okay.
Versus if we start off perfectly messy, it's just gonna get messier throughout the day?
Yeah. So,
Same thing with makeup, um, it's all about the skin. So,
okay.
like, taking their skin into consideration, like, do they get oily? Do they get dry? Kind of anticipating what's going to happen throughout the day, and then using certain products to kind of prep for that. And then setting spray for sure. The one size setting spray is my favorite. It's like
Yeah.
waterproof. It's
Mm-hmm. It's
amazing.
my
Yeah.
favorite too.
And it's not just the setting spray, like there's a million things that go into, making sure that the makeup lasts. And then it's like waterproof and all of that too.
Yeah. And do you take care of all of this, like testing the different products on their skin and doing the different hairstyles during the previews or trials?
No, so all of those techniques I've just learned over the years because I've been doing this for so long,
Yeah.
and I've gotten a lot of feedback from my brides. It always makes me so happy when they report back to me and they're like amazed. They're like, I cannot believe how well everything stayed, even through hiking, sweating in my wedding dress, all the things. Um, so for preview sessions, a lot of times we're not able to do a preview session, so yeah, that definitely just comes from my years of experience, I would say.
That's good. When it comes to like the previews and the trials, you recommend your brides doing it?
A lot of my brides, they're not able to do a preview session because they're
Okay.
coming from so far. So
Got it.
anywhere, if they're coming from California, like SoCal, that's close. But usually my brides are coming from out of the state or out of the country. And so what we do is on the consultation call, I give them kind of overview of my process. And
Mhm.
I always like to start off on the lighter side. That way it gives us room to slowly build and add, and they can see, it gives them a good compass to navigate like what their comfort level is. Like I said, a lot of my brides are like, they're not very comfortable with makeup. They'd never wear makeup on a daily basis. So they don't really know what to expect or like what they even would look like with makeup on. So I find that starting off lighter gives them a good helps them to navigate what their comfort level is. And then I hand them the mirror, get some feedback. And a lot of time too, that like puts themselves at ease where they're like, okay, you didn't freak me out. You didn't scare me. This is not like, whereas if we started off full force, they would be like in shock, like, whoa, like this is way too much already. So
Yeah.
I start off a little lighter and then that puts them at ease. And then they're like, okay, I think we could add a little more blush or a little more on the eyes. And we kind of just work together until it's perfect.
Got it.
It's very much more of like a collaborative process, and I get the feedback when I need it. So that way, the end result feels more like a look that we created together. The inspiration photos are great for inspiration, but then we always have to customize. So I explain all of that to them on the phone call.
Okay.
And I feel like it's very helpful for them because they're planning from far. They don't get to meet their vendors in advance a lot of times. And so I feel like that's the least that we can do is like, just get on the phone and see if we vibe and, put your mind at ease as far as like what to expect for hair and makeup and how we're going to work together and how we're going to ensure that it's like we're always on the same page. So that process has taken me so many years to develop, but it's
17 years, and I can see
yes.
why it works because that put me at ease just even thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty foolproof to where we're always going to be on the same page. So that combined with having enough cushion time too.
Hmm.
So I always schedule like extra time so that way we're having like a fun, enjoyable, relaxing experience and they're not feeling stressed or rushed at all. With elopements, there's already not a lot of stress.
Hmm.
With elopements, there's already not a lot of stress, but definitely having enough time on that day allows us to have time to consult and all of that. And, time is always like a stress factor. If you don't have enough time, that's going to cause stress, no matter if it's an elopement or if it's a wedding day.
Let's dive into content creation because you're the first makeup and hair artist that I've seen do this, which is amazing. But you provide behind the scenes content after you're done with their hair and makeup, and you follow the bride and groom around after
Yes.
for their day. Like, how did you come about that?
Yeah. So I have been doing content creation for almost as long as I've been in business.
Okay.
Because I love social media. Obviously, I have to do it for my business to
Hmm.
promote my services and branding and marketing and all of that. And I get really like I'm an artist, right? So like I get into the art of creating the videos and I enjoy the art of creating the videos. So even for like my daughter's softball games, you know,
Mhm.
I'm like getting videos and I put like a collage together and then I like post it. But I just, you know, send it into the world and that's where it goes. So it's something that like I've always been very passionate about and I
Okay.
find like joy in creating like being creative and artistic and having that eye for like, you know, pretty neat things like the right I don't know all the proper terms that you
Yeah.
guys you photographers would know, but like framing, the right like frame, like I have the artistic eye to see like, okay, that tree here and the
Mhm.
bride here, you know, like framing it properly would look really nice like this. So for me, it's just super fun and it's been something that I've wanted to do for a while, and I just kind of pulled the trigger on that, I would say this last year. And I think that it's something that's very needed too, especially for elopements because our bride and groom couples are just, you know, by themselves. They don't have like their bestie with them, you know, if there's somebody who's like, you know, into that kind of stuff. And so it just works out so perfectly that I'm able to tag along with them. I provide unlimited hair and makeup touch ups for them. We could even do like a second look if there's
Mhm.
time or if it's necessary, if it's needed or something. We can like maybe transform the hairstyle or something like that. And then I bring my gimbal and my cell phone and I just capture all the behind the scenes and I put together some reels for them.
I love that. And honestly, I
Yeah.
would buy me in. What I think is already a win is the fact that you do hair and makeup touches, like touch ups throughout their day. You
Yeah.
know, that is so
Yes,
worth it already.
I know. Yes. And it's I think it's amazing. It's like not to toot my own horn, but I think
You're like,
I just think that it's like
amazing.
such a great idea. Like, you know, like it's so needed. And
It is. It's
my
amazing.
couples have been so excited about it too.
I'm excited and I'm not even a bride, but I do think that
Yeah.
what you are doing is definitely needed in our community. And I'm glad that you started that. And I'm curious to see if after we make this go live, if more hair and makeup artists will be like, wait, I want to do that too. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I feel like we're all like us wedding vendors in the industry, a lot of us are very creative and artistic, you know, like
yeah,
naturally.
right.
So if, yeah, definitely if that's like your natural strong point, it just makes sense.
For sure. And like,
But then
how do
me as
you,
a vendor, it's selfishly, I love that I get to spend more time with my couples and like hike with them and I get to like hang out with them for more, you know, more time.
for sure. And it's good for you too, because like you're able to get more content. I know that like hair and makeup artists are usually like rushing at the last minute to like get like quick hair and
Yeah.
makeup videos after they're
Yeah.
done with their hair and makeup, but like you get to follow them around and you're like,
Yeah.
this is good content, you know?
Yeah, I know. I get to showcase the beautiful hairstyle I created or whatever, like at Taft Point at sunset or so,
Yep.
you know, like that is true.
I love
Yeah.
that for you. How do you balance like both being like a makeup and hair artist and doing content creation? Like, is it
Mhm.
pretty easy to balance both because you're already taking care of one and then you can just like focus on content creation?
Yeah, I would say that like while I'm hiking with them, um, I do have to like keep in mind both roles
Yeah.
and make sure that I'm like being more intentional. I tell my brides too, I'm like, let me know if you feel like you need a touch up for something. If your lips are feeling dry, like we could do 100 lip touch ups. Like just let me know. Like we'll keep rehydrating.
Yeah.
Um, for the most part, the hair and the makeup does stay like
Okay.
intact, you know, because it's built to last like all day and night. So for the most part, they don't need a lot of touch ups. What I'm mostly doing is like I'm jumping in when they have some random hair sticking out or something, you know, like I'm kind of helping the photographer fixing their hair real fast, like putting it back or positioning it correctly if I feel like, you know, it's getting messy or something like that. Or like the natural elements, you know, like maybe I see something and I'm like, why don't we just pin this instead? Because this is just getting messy or something
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, for the most part, I on the day of, but outside of the day, there's like editing that I have to take into
Yep.
consideration for putting the videos together, delivering them. So And it does take more of a toll on my body too, because now I'm hiking with them. So like I'm first providing the hair and makeup services, which already takes a toll on my body a bit.
Right.
And then I'm hiking with them and I have to squeeze in, depending on the day, like a nap or some food or something, depending on how long the day is. And so the recovery time, I would say, is a little different. I know you guys are so used to it, but us hair and makeup artists, we're not used to that. We're used to like we just do our job and we're done, like a couple hours and we're done for the day.
Right.
You guys have like a full day thing. So yeah, it's been a little bit of an adjustment as far as like physically and also like the editing time and everything afterwards. So I already kind of anticipated that. So I do limit those content services. I look at my schedule and I try to limit them and space them out so that way I'm not taking on too much
Right. Well,
more
honestly,
than I can handle.
that is better for you because it looks like a limited service and then it makes brides want it even
Yes.
more, which is
Yeah.
genius on your part,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
What's the longest day you've ever had? Because are you doing like these sunrise wake ups? So like you're going to get
Yeah.
up at 2 a.m., do their hair and makeup, and then you're going to stay with them until sunset. So is
Yeah.
that like, have you had that long of a day before?
Yes. Yeah. And at the end of this day, like I needed a massage. I was
Yeah,
like,
you deserve it.
I should have booked one extra night of hotel because I think I did 2 nights. And I should have, which was like bare minimum. Two
Yeah.
nights was bare minimum because we started at 2 a.m. So the night before I needed to check in. And then the night of, we got back so late, eating. I had to pack up all my stuff and get ready to check out the next day.
Yeah.
And so I needed to book one more night of hotel stay and I needed to factor in a massage.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a super long day. We started probably at 2 a.m. for sunrise. I followed her to Glacier Point,
Okay.
and then she did ceremony. So that was like 4 hours at Glacier Point, if
Mm-hmm.
I remember correctly.
Okay.
And then we had like 3 hours gap, which was supposed to be for like eating and napping. In that 3 hours, though, I only got like 50 minutes of sleep. And I had to like eat and I had to clean up my station and get ready for round two.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did like a second look. So she did a whole different hair and makeup look.
Oh my.
And then we went to Tap Point. So that was another 4 hours. So it was a full day.
Yeah, that's a long
Yeah.
time. That massage that you got is well deserved.
Yeah.
For sure. From your experience, what's something you wish us elopement photographers knew about working with hair and makeup artists?
That's a little tricky because I feel like for the most part, every elopement photographer that I work with, it's always like a good time and good vibes, and like for the most part, I feel like we understand each other's positions and don't get in the way of each other and things like that. The only thing that comes to mind really is sometimes I send my brides on their way
Mm-hmm.
and I'll notice, and this does not happen very often, but
Okay.
once in a great while, I will notice that my bride has like tucked her little strands of hair behind her ear. And I see it in the photos later. I'm like, no.
Yeah, and like I do that like
So
naturally, so I don't blame them.
yes. Yeah, so, I think it has not happened a lot, but I have seen it a couple of times recently, and so I started to tell my brides if they leave those little wispy guys around the face or their bangs out or something, I tell them, "If you feel like are you a type of person to tuck it behind your ears? Because if you are, I'd rather just give you some pins and you, like I'll show you in the mirror what to do later if they're, like, really
Oh,
bothering you." Like, and I show them, like, just go ahead and go like this and just pin one right there. So that way it still looks aesthetically pleasing and it also gets out of your way, like, so that's the only thing that really comes to mind. But like I said, like elopements are so fun and chill that um I feel like there's not much. The only other thing too is timing, right? Like
yep.
I feel like that's a huge like topic that comes up all the time with hair and makeup artists. Like they're always running behind, I don't get that because I never run behind. If anything, like it has to be a huge delay on the client side
Yep.
to get me to run behind. And if I do end up running behind, it's going to be like 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
Hmm.
And usually that's not a big deal because the photographers also schedule a little cushion in there. This is more so for other hair and makeup artists. I say just make sure that you're scheduling like more than enough time. I schedule cushion time in case, especially for like elopements, we're
Hmm.
in destination locations. There's a lot of like road work, construction, tourists that are driving like 5 miles per hour because they're just like taking in all the views, you know?
Yep.
You never know what's going to cause a delay as far as travel. So we schedule cushion time for that. And then cushion time just in case the clients cause some kind of delay. So, we get there and they're like, oh, I got to jump in the shower or something like
Yep.
random. I get these once in a great while. And I'm like, okay, we're supposed to start services right now, but I guess we can wait 15 minutes for you to jump in the shower. So if you have like cushion time on cushion time, anything that could come up, you should have like enough time to still finish on time.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess that's not really geared towards elopement photographers, but
No, no, I'm glad that you mentioned that because I feel like it's always during the getting ready moments, like during hair and makeup, where I notice that there's a lot of like we're just a little bit delayed, and
yeah,
the bride is like, "Oh, Cheryl, I'm so sorry," and I'm like, "Yo, I factored this into the timeline. We're chilling." And even if we
yeah,
are behind, I never let the bride know that we are behind schedule. I just say like, "Oh, we're fine. Like it's your day. This isn't a big
yeah,
traditional wedding venue, so it's not like we have to be on schedule." Like that's the great thing. It's just you two, and the day will unfold as it does, and then it relaxes them. But that's
yes,
why we like factor in cushion time for sure. Like you have cushion time, I have cushion time. We're Gucci, we're just gonna
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And also with the tucking the hair behind the ear thing, I'm glad you mentioned that because like I notice brides doing it, but I'm hesitant to touch their hair because it's like, oh, what if they like having their hair behind their head?
yeah. They like the way that looks or something, and I'm
Exactly.
always like, why didn't the photographer tell her that this looks horrible in the photos or
Yeah.
something? I'm like, oh no,
But they
and
wanted
it's
it.
yeah, they wanted it. They wanted those facial framing pieces, and then probably as the day goes on, they're just the type of person that like touches their hair too much or whatever, and they get annoyed with it and they just tuck it behind. I'm like, no. So yeah, I would say have the confidence to let them know that, that does not look good.
Look
Like,
good.
let's find a different solution or something.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because when I was getting my hair, when I was getting photographed, my photographer would like constantly put both of my hair in front of my like shoulders like this, and I hate that. And
Yeah.
so it's like everyone is different. So, but I'll
Yeah.
make sure to ask them, being like, "Do you want that hair tucked behind your ear?"
Yeah, just show them maybe what it looks like in the photos, and if they're okay with it, then they're okay with it, and that's, their preference, and ultimately, it's up to them,
Right.
but
Um,
they might not realize how it looks.
Perfect. Okay, so that was good advice for us photographers, but do you have any advice for like other hair and makeup artists that are starting off in the elopement industry? Because you have 17 years of
Yeah.
experience. You must have some goodies under your sleeve.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. When you're starting out serving like destination locations, I would say is where all the elopements happen anyways.
Yeah.
It you need to really learn the environment and
Mhm.
the destination, right? Because it's very logistical, especially for like Yosemite, even Big Sur area, because Highway 1, there could be like road work or certain closures or things to take into consideration. But like a place like Yosemite, for sure, you need to know the roads, you need to know where you're going to lose cell service, you
Yep.
need to know where you can get cell service. I guess like you would just need to do a lot of research or take a few trips out there to get the hang of like the area and kind of get to know the area. I always try to just factor in like all these different precautions. Like if you're serving a new place that you're unfamiliar with, maybe stay there like the day before or something, just to make sure that everything runs smoothly. But I guess that's like a heads up that I would give hair and makeup artists that are looking to specialize in elopements and serve pretty destination locations is just it's a different animal. There's more precautions that you need to take as far as like weather, even snow weddings.
Yeah.
You could be driving through snowstorms. You might have to arrive 2 days early instead of 1 day early because maybe the day before there's a snowstorm that shuts the road down. I also carry like a tire pressure thing in the back of my trunk in case like I get a slow leak or something. I don't think it would help if I got an actual flat tire, but just like all the things that I think about of like what precautions can I take because now we're like working in like a rural area where there's like no cell service, where there's not a lot of people and I want things to run smoothly. um, yeah, there's just it's just a whole different beast than
Yeah.
like working at a regular wedding venue where there's self-service and you don't have all those outside factors, I would say.
I think that's a lot of good advice for like just like elopement photographer, sorry, like elopement hair and makeup artists, because I didn't realize like you guys have to basically scout as well, you know?
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, we definitely do. There was one time that a bride hired me in Yosemite West area, which is an area there's not a lot of cell service. There's
Mhm.
none there. And she gave me the wrong address. So I was freaking out. I was like, okay, I always go to problem solve,
Yep.
right? And I knew the condos that I usually stay at in
Yeah.
that community, I knew that I could connect to their internet. So I drove maybe 5 minutes down the road to the condos. I already have the Wi-Fi connection, so my phone automatically connected to their internet. And I was able to use the internet to call her to get the right address. But if I didn't have that inside info to know all of that,
Mhm.
I would have had to drive like maybe an hour or 40 minutes to get cell service to get the right address. Like that would have
Um,
set us back so much more. So, yeah, there's just a lot to think about, but at the same time, it can be very rewarding, very fun. Like I said, it's uh, less stress because you're just working with a couple people. You're working in pretty places,
yep.
so there's a lot to consider. But if it's something that you feel like you're craving, like I love to be in pretty places, I love to be in the nature. That's why I started to venture out into this area more so than, I would definitely pursue it.
I think that's good for elopement hair and makeup artists. Oh, perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
let's do some fun wrap-up questions before we end the episode. What are your goals and dreams for the future of your business?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's like my business has taken many shifts and
Mm.
taken different roads. For the future, I'm really loving where I'm at now. I would say I definitely want to start doing more of the content creation packages because I enjoy spending more time with my couples. I feel
Yeah.
like it's been so rewarding and it's feeding a different like artistic side of me. Like it's another creative outlet that's been so fun. And then like you said to see like the full picture like, come together in a beautiful setting cuz usually I don't get to go with them to see that.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to book more of those. I would say in the future, I may be going back towards the team aspect a little bit. For the larger weddings, I may start to kind of recruit a couple artists that I can. I right now have some artists, but I kind of just send the bride like a referral basis
Yeah.
versus having them work for me like under my brand, I would say. So that, just improving my client experience.
Got it.
Yeah.
No,
And I'm
I
really excited about that. The other day, I would say a couple of weeks ago, I really like sat down and like went through like my email templates and like, the systems and stuff to really have that client experience feel more they're just fully served, and like, just have it feel more streamlined. I mean, it's always streamlined, but just more of a luxury experience.
and I'm so excited for
Yeah.
you because this feels luxury, like you have your hair and makeup artist do like do your hair and makeup, and then they're following you and doing touch-ups the rest of the day. On top of that, they're providing you this BTS content, which is like
Yeah.
only going to stay in our industry, I think. Like it's so popular now, and I think more people are going to want it just because it's such an easy medium to work with, and everyone wants to post it on TikTok and Instagram, and like you provide those memories for them. So I think that's so special.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course. Okay. If you could do your hair and makeup anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Ooh, that is a good one. If I could do it anywhere in the world, there's so many destinations that are like top of the list. I would say anywhere that's like tropical because I love heat. Like I'm like 90 to 100 degrees is my happy place.
Oh my God.
And I could do humidity too, which is why I loved Hawaii. So anywhere
Okay.
that's like tropical or animals. Like I love animals. I see was it you? Oh my gosh, it was one of your elopements recently or weddings where you guys were doing like horseback riding.
Yes.
So like anything that has to do with animals, I'm like all for like I see couples do all kinds of cool things like at zoos or safaris or with the giraffes or like
Yeah.
stuff like that. Oh my gosh, I
I
would
feel like you would thrive in
die if
South
I could
Africa
be
or Thailand. Like,
yeah, like, if I could be a part of that somehow, like, that would be my dream, like, mix beauty and animals together,
oh, that's
that's
your
me.
next project.
Yes, how do I get there? Actually, that's gonna be for next year.
I don't know, but if there are any like photographers in the industry that has like a wedding or elopement planned in South Africa or Thailand or anywhere with animals and they need a makeup and hair artist,
Yes,
Susan is
send
readily
them
available, you guys.
send them my way. I try to, post, like, my dogs and my chickens and stuff on my Instagram stories or TikTok or whatever, just to let other brides know, and I end up attracting a lot of, like, animal-loving clients too, especially, like, dog moms, so it makes me so happy when they bring their dogs on wedding day, I'm like, "Yes."
You need to go to
So
like the zoo and just start filming yourself randomly
yeah.
with animals. They're like,
I
oh, this girl
do,
looks
yeah,
sad.
anytime I'm around animals, I put them on my stories, like, I just love all kinds of animals, farm animals, zoo, anything.
I love that for you because I love animals too. So we are on the same page with that. Okay, last question. What does staying epic mean to you?
Yes, okay, so this question, I was like, "I don't know,"
What
but,
did Cheryl
uh
say?
yeah, what is Cheryl saying? No, what epic staying epic, what it means to me is, like, you wanna stay, to me, I always want to stay like the best that I can be. Like, that saying that's like
Mhm.
you're in competition with yourself or whatever. Like, that's kind of like how I take that and how I take my career and my life is like just always being the best and doing the best and then serving my brides and my couples the best that I can. And so, whether that means like offering a new service like I did this year, like start to implement and offer new things or like taking extra classes to like step up my skill of artistry level, things like that. It's just, or even like the customer service that I provide because like when we're serving elopements, there's very few people around. So sometimes I'm like helping them get in their wedding dresses, zipping them up and doing like 100 buttons down down the back of their dress, like and sometimes I'm like they didn't hire the photographer or videographer to like do the first look for them. So they hand me their cell phone, like, can you just capture this real quick?
Yeah.
Like, sure, like and I like set them up and this is like not anything that we discussed ahead of time or not part
Mhm.
of like my role as a hair and makeup artist, but just being here for whatever you need, and like to help their day run smoothly. I feel like so to encompass it all is just like always striving to be the best that I can and do the best that I can and serve my clients the best that I can.
I love that. Yeah, and I tell people this all the time. It doesn't take much effort to set yourself apart from like the ordinary. Like it's just a little bit more effort and focusing on yourself and not anyone else's competition, and you will thrive. And that is why you are the queen at what you do.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay, where can everyone find you? Share your
I
social
am,
media.
yes. So Jireh Artistry, Jireh, on Instagram. And then TikTok is Jireh Artistry Bridal.
Okay.
Google, I love Google for like SEO and stuff. So I collect all my reviews on Google. Yeah, that's pretty much my main platforms, I would say.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for hopping on the episode with me. I really appreciate you taking the time to share your story as a makeup and hair artist and a content creator in our elopement industry.
Yay. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning into the Epic Podcast. If you love today's episode, don't forget to follow the show, leave a review, and share it with a friend who could use a little inspiration. You can connect with me on Instagram and TikTok at Sheryl Anne Photo or at Epic Photo Podcast for more stories, tips, and behind the scenes from life as an elopement photographer. Until next time, stay epic.